Okay, so this video is going to be for assignment 4. First thing is, please disregard this word test. This is not going to be a test. Now, the objective of this assignment, which it's laid out in the instructions here, but more importantly, I'd like to stress that you are going to create a house as close as possible to the one in this picture. I realize that certain things like this tree, you might not find that tree, or those bushes, you might not find those bushes. That's okay. But if there's 3 bushes on each side, you'll have 3 bushes on each side. If there's a large tree, you're going to have a tree. The car could be any car, it could be any truck, it could be any color. For this assignment, we are going to keep the person, and that's going to be for scale. And I'm just going to take you through how to draw this. Now, with this particular drawing, it actually does spell out a few specific measurements. So the house should have a base of 40 by 25 feet, and the peak of the house, or the roof line, should be 17 feet tall. You are going to have to create a yard. It doesn't specify size, so that's okay. You're going to have to apply grass and the sidewalk and the driveway as well. So let's look at how to do this. It's going to be 40 by 25. So unlike in previous assignments, I'm actually not going to start over here, because I could, but then I'd have to move my person. Let's just go 40 by 25. So I'm clicking my left button on the mouse, I'm bringing it out, and I'm not going to click. I'm going to type in 40, comma space, 25 feet, enter. If I'm not sure of my sizes, I can always remeasure that. I got 40 by 25. Now, so the overall peak height is going to be 17 feet. So I'm going to keep the math really easy, and I'm going to make the house itself 10. I'm going to pull it up 10. So that's 10 feet tall. And I'm going to make the roof line 7. 10 plus 7 is 17. Just makes things a lot easier. And I'm just going to click on that and go 7 feet tall. And once again, if you're not sure, you should be able to just quickly go, and we've got 17 feet tall. Perfect. I'm going to do a quick yard, just so I can have an idea of scale. So that looks good. Perfect. Now I'm going to complete this house before I add any kind of texture. So I'm going to create the chimney. There's no specific size. I'm just going to rotate that. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this up, and I'm going to touch the peak of that house. That's usually how chimneys are made, so it's at the peak or even just a little bit above. I'm going to create a little part for the top, and this is all freehand, of course. And this will be the little part at the top that your smoke comes out of. I'm going to use offset. I'm going to bring that in. That looks good. And let's just get our push-pull, and let's just push that down to wherever. Okay, so now it looks authentic. Now you're going to have to create a door. And I'm going to look over to the right-hand side, right corner, and it says it's about 4 feet by 8 feet and change. Make sure that your door is at least 8 feet. Click, and let's add some texture to this once we're done. Now, it asks for 3 windows. So I'm going to make a window like so. And your windows can be made differently. They don't have to be made like this. But this is just a quick and easy way to do it. Little error there. Let's just go click. Okay. And I'm just going to go in. Now I'm going to click on this line, but then I'm going to touch that line so that everything's the same. I'm going to touch on that line, click, I'm going to, oops, I double clicked on that one. So I'm going to click once here, and then I'm going to touch that line, so all of this is the same. If you want to remove these lines in the middle, that's up to you, your call. But what I am going to do is, in the interest of efficiency, I'm going to make this window a component. So I created a window around it. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go make component. And once again, the default is component 1 is the first one I'm making. If you want to call it window, you can. Enter. And if you've clicked on the house icon in the component section, in addition to Chris, you're going to see your new component, which is window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go move option, click, and let's copy this right over, well, right to about there. Now, obviously, you don't want your window to be in midair for one, and you don't want it to be behind the chimney. So in this particular instance, what we're going to do is we're going to make this unique, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go tools, and we're going to go scale, and I'm just going to hold the button down, and let's pull that in, and now it's the right size. Now this can also be used for components that you bring in from the 3D warehouse. And you do have the option, if you want, you can use windows from the 3D warehouse. So if you don't want to make your own, you can bring your own, you can bring them in from the 3D warehouse. Let's just kind of move that down. Make it look okay. On face means it's on the actual house. It also means that I'm not pulling it away. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this out here, and I'm going to put that on the house. Click. Now let's just pull this over and make sure it's on the house. It is. Okay. Now, one thing you can do now, which I would actually suggest you do in the beginning, is finish all the aspects of the window. So I'm now, since this component is the same, they're both going to get these changes. It might be a little easier for you to do this before you copy it and whatnot. So we've got that window there. And we're now going to move on to our unique component. And we're going to edit that. Edit component. Just going to give it the glass that we need. Okay. Well, let's quickly. Okay, so if you get something like this where your texture is just a little bit off, don't worry about it. You're not going to lose marks. It's there. That's got more to do with the shading of Google SketchUp. So let's move on to adding texture to everything. Let's go to our door, and I'm going to put a doorknob on here, and I'm going to pull it out, and let's go metal. Most doorknobs are metal, and let's make it metal. Okay, let's make the door wood. Any wood will do. Now the roofing was a grayish color, so we're going to find something kind of grayish. Okay, looks good. Same with the bricks. We'll go with this gray. Gray, gray, gray. You can leave the top of the chimney blank. We don't need to add texture to that. And click, click. Okay. Okay, so let's do the driveway. Okay. And we'll create our sidewalk. I'm going to start with a pencil going straight out and going straight over. There's no specific size for this, so more or less you can just do what looks the same. Okay. Let's add some texture to that sidewalk. Okay, let's go with some polished concrete. Let's add some grass to the lot. Let's see, landscaping, fencing, and vegetation. There's our grass. Okay, now let's import our bushes and our trees. Go over here, go tree, enter. Okay. Now one thing you want to keep in mind is if you see a tile like this where it's a single tile and you choose it, that's what you're going to get. If you choose one of these that has a series of tiles on top of each other, it's going to bring you to a sub menu. Okay, so let's just go tree. Bring this tree in. Let's put it right there. Now the tree should be a little bigger, so much like the window, I'm going to go Tool, Scale. I'm just going to pull this up, make this just a little bigger. Okay. There you go. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in the bushes. Okay, so we're going to search the 3D warehouse for a small circular bush. It's worth noting that you are importing just a bush, but depending on who drew the bush, it could involve quite a bit of complexity. So it might sound odd that something so small could be so detailed. So what I'm going to do, let's try this one here. Click, bring this one in. It's a small circular bush. Perfect. Okay, let's just copy this. And we'll copy that over and click. For whatever reason, this particular bush has got some geometric lines. It's not that big a deal. But what I am going to do is I am going to edit the component, and I'm going to make it a little smaller with my scale option. Like so, and just kind of bring it in like that. Okay. Let's just space this one over. So, like so. And I'm going to grab the smaller one for this side here. Click. And click. Okay, so we got our 3 bushes. Now we're going to import a car or truck of your choosing. Let's go. Now let's go see if they have any Astro vans. Here we are. Click. Okay, here's our van. Now, if the orientation is incorrect on any of these components, go up to the rotation, put it on top, make sure it's flat, go straight out. The color is going to signify that it's straight. And then let's rotate it. It's green. If you look at the bottom right hand corner, you're going to see the 90 degrees. And that's how you're going to rotate your objects. Okay. Now that should be it for the house assignment. Once again, make sure you don't erase this person. If you want, you can bring that person over. Kind of put them right there. And the main purpose for this person is just to kind of give us some scale. For example, the door, he or she should be able to fit in the door, stuff like that. And if we look at this drawing and we look at this one here, it's quite similar. If you do all this, 12 out of 12.